If you're not getting pumped up the day of the tournament, whether you got fish or not, then you're probably in the wrong sport.
I just tell myself this is a new day. Try not to let the pressure get to me. Don't worry. Catch my own fish. Concentrate on what I got to do.
There's fish. Confidence and attitude in a tournament is probably 98% of how you're going to catch fish.
You're watching the Minnesota Pro-Am Bass Tour. I'm Chipler.
And I'm Tommy Scarless, and we're here at Fortune Bay Resort and Casino on Lake Vermillion. And as usual, tournament time rolls around, and Mother Nature throws a monkey wrench in, drops a cold front right down on top of the Minnesota Pro-Am Bass Tour.
But I'll tell you what, these anglers are pumped up, and these are some of the toughest anglers in the entire Midwest when it comes to bass fishing. So stick with us as these bass anglers look for their fortune in the bays of Lake Vermillion.
The Minnesota Pro-Am Bass Tour is brought to you by Fox Sportsnet, KFAN Radio, and Media Rare Incorporated.
Somebody, regardless of how tough the conditions are, I think you got it. Somebody is going to come in with a bag of fish.
If I get the right bites, I can catch 30 pounds.
I mean, look at the size of this net, man. This is the biggest net on tour, 81 inches. and Rich is going to put one in there the size of that net tomorrow.
Vermillion is one of my favorite tournament stops here. I do real well out here. I like this tournament. It's a lot of quality fish in this lake.
It's a glacial shield lake, so there's slabs of granite that run throughout the lake. It offers a mix of largemouth and smallmouth bass.
Somebody's going to win with smallmouth. I always tell my partner we need one fish an hour. Now, if we're on a good bite, we need one quality fish an hour. If we're on a tough bite, we need one fish an hour.
Hopefully today we can stick them and see how big they are and just see what happens.
Folks, as you can tell, we've been all over Lake Vermillion, and a lot of these anglers are shut down just like the bass from this cold front. In fact, guarded optimism at best, Chipper.
Oh, some of them are downright timid. It's going to take a lot of confidence to pull off a win. A few anglers know what that's like, and one of them happens to be off a recent win at Alexandria, Brian Blazer. And he's as solid as Canadian Shield rocks that they're fishing today. So let's hop aboard his boat, see how he's doing.
Let's go. I won last tournament, but last tournament, that's the last tournament. That was 2 weeks ago. This is a whole different tournament. It's a whole different body of water. We're going to be throwing tubes mostly. We're going to be looking at rocks and wood. What happens usually when it gets cloudy, they don't associate with the wood anymore, so we'll find out when we get to the first spot. Let's go get them, man. Anticipation. Can't wait to get to your first spot and hope like heck they didn't change from the day before. We're going to be throwing tubes at these really big rocks. Yesterday they were stacked in here pretty thick. Fish, good one. Oh yeah, he's a good one, he's a good one. Ready, Todd? Hold on, here he comes. Good job. That's the way I like to start. We're sitting by this big rock, and I knew yesterday when I was here that I had a big fish on, and kind of figured he'd still be here. And I was hoping, and he was. Big fish are behind me. Little fish go behind you. So that's a good start, but we need 7 more just like it.
Traditionally, you can come in here and make one pass and have a quick limit, and you just kind of fish better if you got the boat full. Just missed one. You got one?
Oh, I had one.
Yeah, nice one, 2-pounder. And he's been fishing with that spinner bait. That's his lucky bait. He says he catches a lot of good fish on it. And he had me tie on lures for him last night. And I forgot to check the hook, and he just lost a big one. And after you use it all day long, you should double check that. Oh, pike. Here, I just had a pike on. So another good thing to do is make sure that you didn't get your line frayed. And then I'm going to check my point. And see how it hangs in my fingernail really good? It's sharp. Net. Net. All right, thanks. Well, that one's only about 4 pounds less than what I was hoping for, but you can always come and get a limit of them quick down in this end of the lake. All right.
I've been up here for about a week now and running around, and the schools of fish don't seem to be there. So what I've done is I've located about 50 spots that are going to hold maybe 1, 2 fish. Got them marked on the map, and I'm starting at one side of the lake and we're working over towards the other side of the lake. Okay, give me some slack with the line. Where'd he go? There we go. That's what we came here for. I found this week that if I go to an area and there are no crayfish, most likely there are no bass. What I have on here is a tube craw. Such a realistic looking craw that even the craws on the rock take offense to it invading their territory and try to fight it.
If you get that type of reaction from these crayfish, typically that means you're using the right type of lure or right colored lure that's going to hopefully do the same thing with the bass. It's going to make them think it's the crayfish and they're going to eat it just like the crayfish are trying to do.
Pretty close to the same thing.
Right now we got 5 fish in the well. We don't have no real monster fish. We got some 2-pounders. We got plenty of time left, and I got a couple spots yet that I caught some good fish. So we're gonna. Ryan decided to tie on a shallow crankbait this morning, and he seems to be getting them on it. And this spot seems to have a mixed bag of fish on it. There's some smallmouth along this rock edge, and there's weeds on the outside edge, so that makes the largemouth come in here too. Fish. If you ain't got a good guy that can run that net, it could mean taking a check and not taking a check.
It's early in the day. It's only about 8:30 in the morning. I'm not sure what the weather's going to do this afternoon. He's just a little one. Catch a lot of them this size. What we're doing today is just throwing a jig, and I prefer to use a zoom chunk. It's soft. If the fish bite it, it goes right through the plastic. We're just throwing it into the pockets of coontail that's out here.
The Minnesota Pro-Am Bass Tour is brought to you by the Minnesota State Lottery and Ranger Boats.
Steadily, year after year, the Minnesota State Lottery has been contributing to our quality of life. More than $1 billion. Proceeds are dedicated to the general and environmental funds for causes we care about. Your Minnesota State Lottery. Games that make a difference.
Serious quality. Serious performance. Serious satisfaction. Serious fishermen know that nothing compares to the quality and performance of a Ranger VX Comanche. Isn't it time you got serious? Ranger Boats, still building legends one at a time. Ranger is proud to be a partner with Yamaha Outboards.
If you ever run into pro angler Mark Chipler, do him a big favor. Don't stare, just ask.
And I prefer people, you know, when they do notice my burns and stuff, I like for people to ask. You know, I'd rather have them know than sit there and wonder.
What Mark wants people to know is that when he was 18 years old, he got caught in a house fire that burned about 80% of his body.
It's part of my life. It's part of who I am. I mean, it's, you know, why I am who I am today.
Back then, he was a regular kid with big dreams.
I was really into athletics. Football was a big, big thing to me. I would have to say that was my #1 dream, was to play football.
He also loved to fish, and his main fishing buddy was his best friend and brother, Doug. Mark and Doug share a bond that goes beyond being brothers. They lived through that fire together. It started in their parents' basement.
Flames popped up pretty quick, and I mean right to the ceiling from wall to wall, so Mark really didn't have a prayer to get through, and it was probably 5 feet thick.
Well, with the fumes of the mineral spirits, the air just went up. And he was on one side of the fire, I was on the other side.
Mark, already badly burned, was on the wrong side. Doug went and got help and pulled his brother out a basement window.
I was hoping he was going to survive. At that point, I didn't know if he'd make it to the ambulance even.
After a 3-month drug-induced coma, Mark woke up here in the burn center at Regents Hospital in St. Paul. Football and fishing were the furthest things from Mark's mind at the time. In fact, he couldn't see and he couldn't talk, and he didn't know if he'd do either ever again.
But at that point in time, I was just glad to be alive. I didn't realize the reason I couldn't talk was because of the feeding tube going down and cutting off my larynx, so I couldn't talk. And the reason I couldn't see is because they had patches on my eyes and my head was all bandaged up, and that's why I couldn't see. But so it probably took about a month and a half before I even realized I was going to be able to talk and see again.
He was scared. He was overwhelmingly in pain, and he was going to be here a long time.
A lot of that time was spent with Nurse Candace Keene and the current director of the burn center, Dr. Lynn Solom. They played a big part in his remarkable recovery, but no bigger than his own.
Certainly some tenacity and really some stick-to-itiveness. He had a streak of, I'm going to win, I'm going to do this.
Now let's bring him up from Maplewood, Minnesota, Mark Chipler.
A winning attitude is what Mark brings to the Minnesota Pro-Am Bass Tour. He also brings along a big part of the life that this tragedy was not going to deny him.
I've already succeeded in some of my dreams. I got a beautiful wife. I got 2 beautiful daughters.
Now Mark is working on another dream, namely have enough success as a pro to do it full time. That and live the life he almost lost to the fullest.
It really made me a much stronger person, and gave me the desire, really increased my desire to really live and seek my dreams out.
We're more or less slop fishing right now. Pretty much the same thing over where we're going is what we just did. And there's less weeds here, but I got some fish off some wood, scattered wood that's been in the near shore. So hopefully get a few more. Just using a weightless brush hog, burying the hook. It's now just about 11 o'clock, so hopefully we can go through here and pick out and get some bigger ones and get rid of some of our small ones. Fish. That there was fish number 8. It is your turn, you know.
I know, I'm up.
He's a good partner to have. We've both been catching fish.
Brian and I went out practicing. We kind of formulated our game plan midway through the day. There's a bite. There we go. All right, here we're fishing. It's actually an inside weed line. We have a rock wall. There's scattered rock in the bottom. Gonna have to throw him on the board, see if he keeps. It's looking a little small, and he is just short by ½ an inch. I'll stick with our power baits. We'll probably be throwing a power hog and a jig most of the day. Wait. There we go, Brian. Another small fish, though. Yeah. I'll vary my hook set for each bait I'm fishing. Like a crankbait, I'll do a slow sweep set, just for the fact that the hooks are very small treble hooks. When I'm fishing a single hook bait like that, I really put a lot of force in my hook set so I can drive that big hook home. 7 fish, and now we're just looking to upsize the bigger one.
Ooh, we got a follower. Nice fish too. Hey Bill, well, how about throwing that spinnerbait? They're chasing that jig swimming. Fish on. Oh. Coming out. Right there. Strong fish. Yeah. Pretty fish. Dark belly. See the gray? When you catch a smallmouth, they're generally very dark in color. They've got a system like human beings. When we face turns red, that means we're mad. That means we got something going on. Smallmouth are the same way. They get real dark when they're feeding. You see light ones in the water all the time, and you just put baits around them and they'll never bite on them. But if you find a dark one, it's guaranteed to bite. He's coming in. He's coming in. Back off. Nice fish.
This morning I made the decision to run to the narrows area of the lake. It's got to be 18-mile run probably. Partner's got a fish. We caught a few. We were able to catch 7 largemouth and 1 smallmouth. They're not as big as I would like. We're not about to give up though.
Vermillion is big water, and a lot of these anglers are trying to cover a lot of water, trying to find 8 magic fish today. Just like pro angler Mike Pica, who's right next to us. He is rushing down shorelines, casting docks, rocks, boulders. The idea is cover more water, so it's going to take 8 of them and 8 good ones to win today on Vermillion.
It's normally a given in tournament fishing history that all the fish are located the farthest distance from the takeoff. Here's a situation where Pro Dan Joyce this morning, through an act of fate, had to change boats in midstream, started fishing right by the weigh-in for a timing issue. While all the other anglers are running all over the lake, he's got 5 in the box and has found active fish. This could actually turn out to be a big move for Dan Joyce.
All right. It went really good this morning. Had a really nice bite, and it's been slow, but we're just pounding away, and we're hoping to get a couple more in the boat here, and we'll see what happens. Fish. Well, he's a good one. All right. Nice fish, John. Well, John's using a jungle jig. You can use that to kind of swim through the weeds too, and sometimes that really triggers them. I'm using a craw worm, and he's doing that, and it just paid off there.
The Minnesota Pro-Am Bass Tour is brought to you by Rev Up Energy Drink, Star Tribune, and Yamaha Motors.
It's enjoyable to be here. Everybody likes you here. The people are great. The casino is great.
We bet you'll love the Lake Vermillion area with so much to see and do. Hitch a ride on a mailboat.
Yes.
It's a great way to see the lake and mingle with the locals. Or take some time off the water to explore the nearby Iron Range, where there's plenty of action happening above and below the ground. Whether you're shopping in nearby Ely or paddling Big Bay, a trip to Lake Vermillion is a guaranteed wild time.
I started hitting around the docks. I tried other things and I couldn't get anything going. And I told my partner, you know, I hope he was up for skipping docks all day. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Yes. That's what I'm talking about. Ooh, he's got one eye too. This is the second time I've gotten a fish with one eye. Once on Lahamadou and once here. Well, we'll let you go. We pulled in over here and we've caught 3 fish, 2 measured, 1 didn't, and now we just picked up that decent smallmouth. So it's starting to look up for us. This is what they like on the river. sometimes with the black and a chartreuse tail. So I just thought, what the heck, I'm going to try it. That worm's doing it. That's a nice fish.
Just looking for that big one. It should be right here. Oh, it's not that big. My partner Dan is weighing up the fish, balancing them out. We're going for 8/16 of an ounce.
Last tournament I missed third by 6 1/100ths of a pound, so that could make the difference.
About running out of time. Hopefully we can get a quality fish in here to help us out.
The days are so short, you know. You always ask your questions what you could have done different. We had a great time, and it's always mind-boggling until after you get them all weighed in. You don't know how good you really did, you know. Hopefully we'll be up there running with everybody else.
Can anybody make any noise for local angler Matt Kleins from Cook, Minnesota? And today you're fishing with Troy Schwab from Elk River. You're sneaking into the top 7-8 with 18.10 pounds. Good job.
And we're going to bring up on stage from East Gull Lake, Minnesota, Todd Schmitz with Seth Fighter from Bloomington, Minnesota, another K-Fan Junior Am. It was a great day because you just weighed 21.84 and smashed it again. You're the new tournament leaders.
Chip, we got Ma Fighter out there. She about lost her voice after the last tournament. Seth gave her just enough time as she yells, "That's my kid," to recover. Her voice just came back. Seth, Mom might not be able to take this stress much longer.
And Tommy, now we've got a couple guys remaining. Who are we bringing up next?
Well, we're going to bring up Michael Bruno, a rookie pro, fishing with Rick Hill from Hudson, Wisconsin. We have got some big fish in there. There's a largemouth that could take big fish, but first, we've got to determine that you just took the lead with 22.86 pounds. 22.86 pounds.
We're going to bring up Dwayne Anderson and his co-angler partner here this afternoon, John Kims from Hastings. Just how nervous are you at this particular moment, Dwayne?
I'm pretty nervous. This would be a really big win, but whatever happens, happens. It's been great.
Well, what happens is you're cashing one big check with 24.67 pounds. These are your 2002 Minnesota ProAm Bass Tour Lake Vermillion champions, Dwayne Anderson, John Kims. That is absolutely awesome, guys. Congratulations.
This is a Northland jungle jig, and what I like to do is put on my own skirt to mix and match to the fry or crayfish that I see in the water, and I get these skirts from Stanima Bait. It has no action. You have to supply the action to it, and bass, they like to hide behind logs and stumps and rocks and just trying to pitch it right on top of them and get a soft entry and have it fall right in front of their face. And boy, when you get one, they're usually pretty big, and I call them the money makers.
Wow, Chipper, what a dramatic finish here at Lake Vermillion and Fortune Bay Resort Casino.
I'll tell you what, these anglers had to overcome some huge adversity with the weather conditions and just the fish conditions they were presented with.
But the tough anglers on the Minnesota ProAm Bass Tour get the job done time and time again. In third place, Todd Schmitz and Seth Fighter with 21.84 pounds.
Michael Bruno, rookie pro. Rick Hill, his co-angler partner, 22.86 pounds, including huge bass of the day.
And in first place, the dynamic rookie duo of Dwayne Anderson and John Kimmis with 24.67 pounds.
We got one more event left on the Minnesota ProAm Bass Tour as we flow down the Mississippi to Winona, and we'll see you there.
Was our champ, taking home points towards a classic appearance.